So I finally finished Ocarina of Time for the first time, and it got me thinking. I know, a rare occurrence. Before finishing the game through JPtheHRMT, a fan-made PC port of the original N64 version, I also tried the N64 original and the 3DS port. Each version offered a different way to experience the same classic. Better graphics, smoother controls, and modern quality of life features. But do those improvements make classic games better, or do they take away from the experience that made them classics in the first place? It's Vert, and welcome to ExtraVert, a series where we bump some lo-fi and talk about some gaming. So, take a walk with me. Before we go any further, I should probably explain where I stand on remakes and remasters, because to me, those words shouldn't be interchangeable. A remaster should take the game we already have and clean it up, improve the resolution, smooth out the frame rate, maybe update the controls and add a few quality of life features. Basically, preserve the original experience while making it easier to enjoy on modern hardware. But a remake should rebuild the game from the ground up. If you're gonna sell me the same game again, I wanna see what modern technology and a fresh creative perspective can bring to it. I also think enough time needs to pass for the remake to feel justified. Final Fantasy VII is a great example. More than 20 years passed between the original game and its remake, and when it finally arrived, it didn't just give Midgar a new coat of paint. And I can already hear the comment section of people typing, yes, the remakes aren't perfect, they have problems. We'll get to that in a different video. The upcoming Ocarina of Time remake has that same potential. The original is nearly 30 years old. Technology has come a long way, and there's an opportunity to introduce a new generation to Hyrule without completely erasing what made the original so special. But then you have remakes like Last of Us or the recent Black Flag. And listen, if you enjoyed those games, all power to you. I'm not saying they're bad games, I just don't believe they need to be remade. When the original is still accessible, still looks good, and still plays well, a full remake can start to feel less like preservation and more like selling us nostalgia. That's actually why I recently bought Halo the Master Chief Collection instead of playing the new Halo remake. As someone experiencing this series for the first time, I wanted to see the original games. The collection gives me those classic experiences with improved performance, modern conveniences, and the ability to switch between the original and updated graphics. I didn't need the first game completely rebuilt. I wanted the classic cleaned up and made accessible. And maybe the remake is the better experience for someone else, but for me, the Master Chief Collection felt like the better way to understand why these games became classics in the first place. And that's where I draw the line. A remake should make an old experience feel new again. It shouldn't just make a familiar experience easier to sell again. But that brings me back to Ocarina of Time. Before using JPtheHRMT, I tried playing the original N64 version through Nintendo Switch online. And me and those controls, like my wife and mistress, were not meshing. Which honestly confused me because I grew up with an N64. I thought returning to those controls would feel natural. It did not. JPtheHRMT fixed most of my issues. It gave me smoother controls and modern quality of life options while preserving the original graphics, dungeons, combat, and overall structure. Now that I've rolled credits, I feel like I got as close as I reasonably could to the classic Ocarina of Time experience. Did those improvements ruin the game for me? No, they're probably the only reason I actually finished the game. I'll save my deeper thoughts for the full Ocarina of Time video. Spoiler alert! But the experience helped me understand both sides of this conversation. I don't think it's fair to get mad at developers for rebuilding a classic for a modern audience, as long as the remake actually feels justified. But I also don't think that it's fair to judge someone who doesn't want to wrestle with the 30-year-old game just to understand why people love it. Some players want the original experience, others would rather wait for the pretty shiny version. And honestly, this conversation reminds me of how people used to be with books and movies. Some people wanted to read the books, others were perfectly happy waiting for the film. Yes, the experiences are different, and something may have been lost in the adaptation, but if the newer version helps someone connect with a story or a game they otherwise would have skipped entirely, I don't think that's ruining the experience. I think that's giving the experience a second life. Unless you're talking about RE1, the controls are not that bad, man up, play the game. So at the end of the day, I don't think modern graphics or quality of life improvements automatically ruin a classic experience. But giving an older game updated visuals and fancy new systems doesn't automatically make it better or the definitive way to experience it either. Sometimes the original is still the best way to understand what made a game special. Other times, a modern version can make that experience accessible to someone who might have otherwise missed it. The important part is preserving what made the original special, not preserving every limitation that came with it. Now that I've finally experienced Ocarina of Time, I'm excited to see how the remake adapts some of my favorite moments. So comment below on a remake that you actually like. I'll be starting my first playthrough of Majora's Mask over on Twitch soon, so come hang out and watch me struggle on another Zelda classic. And if you've been enjoying these conversations, feel free to support the channel by liking, subbing, and doing all the other YouTube stuff. So until next time, it's JPtheHRMT, this is ExtraVert, and you guys stay safe.